So here we are. If you've made it this far, you've listened to this album, Timi Haze. My gospel, such a loaded word. I've criticized Christianity and Islam, and now it's time for Judaism. These three large Abrahamic religions that worship the same deity. These large cults which have sunk their pincers into the entire world like a virus, taking over the minds of all people. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what is this guy doing? He's making a speech at the end of the album. Well, I'm putting some music over it, so it's a song, right? Well, I tend to talk a lot on YouTube and post a lot on Instagram or whatever. So I come from a long history of music and listening to all kinds of music. And what is the most powerful kinds of music? The most influential? Well, that's kind of hard to say, but at least for me, I was inspired by things like the Woodstock concert, the original one, where it fucking meant something. It was a stand, a rebellion against oppressive authority that was wrecking lives all around the world, making enemies where there shouldn't be enemies. And that's what I want to talk about right here, right now. The Middle East, Gaza, the Gazan genocide happening right now. Look, I'm just a person raised in the US education system, which is woefully ill-equipped in many ways. So a lot of what I've learned has been after finishing school as an adult, trying to parse through so many biased sources on the internet and trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in this world. And what seems to have happened is that different powerful groups of people have divided up the world into different groups under these blanket terms of race or caste systems or religious groups, which are just mythology that you indoctrinate people into to create a fervent lower class that is working in servitude for those in power. So the Jewish people were oppressed by the Christian Nazis. They were routed into ghettos and killing camps. And then what happened? It's so hard to know what happened after that, because when I've tried to read about Israel and things like that, it's so much bias, so much propaganda. But when we look at that entire region, India, the Middle East, Pakistan, Iran, and Afghanistan, and Israel, all these nation states created, all these groups of people displaced by European colonialism, Anglo-Saxon colonialism, which has affected so many parts of the world, South America, East Asia. Now, I know there's many factors, and I'm not trying to villainize any one group of people, certainly not Anglo-Saxons. But the thing is, we have to realize that nothing is in a vacuum. Powerful people have migrated from the cold, pale-skinned regions of the world in search of food and more resources, because there's not many things available in the cold regions. So they go to warmer climates, they take things over, and they oppress people. And what happens is that the oppressed groups also have the same instincts to conquer, to establish dominion, to commodify people as resources. But they lack the power to do so because of so many reasons. The push for technological advancement and militaristic imperialistic technological advancement, there's more pressure when you're starving. Always it is the starving animal that acts more aggressively, more territorial, more conquestial. So we consider the Jew. What a loaded way to say it. The Jewish people who experienced great oppression during the Nazi regime. And then what happened? Well, based on what I've been able to parse from the internet, is that they were empowered by Western imperial forces that saw them as an investment to establish the state of Israel into a highly contested region between these two ethnic groups, the Jews and the Arabs. And because of their empowerment, they in turn oppressed the Arabic people that are living in the area, which has led to, decades later, now what is happening. And now look, all these taking sides, whatever, I'm not trying to say both sides are bad or whatever, both sides have merit, but look, there is a certain realization that comes with saying, okay, Hamas can be the strong arm that is acting in retaliation towards oppression, but they in turn are committing atrocities, right? And then the Gazan people themselves are an ethnic group established in Islam, which, as my previous song shows, my opinion of Islam and Christianity, which are just the same as Judaism in my eyes. These people, and it's not just Israel or Gaza, it's Yemen, the United Arab Emirates, that's a mouthful. It's Lebanon, it's Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, the Xinjiang region. It's all these regions with these Abrahamic religions, and then Europe, Christianity as well. We are not in a fucking vacuum. Everywhere around the world, it's the same thing. It's people vying for power to control resources. And in the Middle East, territorialism and aggression is increased because it's a desert region. And water is lacking. Food is more scarce. So people are more aggressive. They are more prone to commodifying people into fascist patriarchal power structures because resources are scarce. So they behave more like animals in regions of scarcity. They treat women worse. They limit bodily autonomy and expressions of freedom. And it's only the very wealthy oligarchical caste that has built power through things like oil, selling oil to the world, that gets to enjoy unprecedented freedoms. My point in saying this is, I've said this on YouTube already, how I would make the world a better place. My belief is that it doesn't matter what side you take, whether you say the Jews are right, the Arabs are right. I don't think anyone is right based on their fucking mythology or whatever. Or, oh, who started the fight first? Who's the angel in committing atrocities? Because both sides, this is not an enlightened centrist take. Every single group of people has committed atrocities. That's not to dismiss the fact that, oh yeah, everyone does it, so it's okay. No, it's realizing that because everybody does it, the solution is not taking a side. And look, I'm not in the group of people experiencing these things happening. I am pretty lucky to be in a position where I have not experienced the consequences of war firsthand. Secondhand, yes, I have. My father was a military officer, so my entire life has been affected by war. I myself am the product of war, as pretty much all of us are, but for me, in kind of a direct sense, my father was a soldier married to a Korean woman while he was stationed in Korea. So yes, I was born from literally war. My point in saying this is that, yes, temporarily with sanctions or peace treaties, we can stop things, right? And I don't know the exact whatever of, I've read something about accords and whatever in Gaza and whatever, right? I don't know. But what I do know is this general idea of division between people based on whatever the fuck. It's repeated everywhere. White people versus black people versus Hispanic people. Sorry, Latino people, Latin people, brown people versus Christians, Jews, Muslims versus Asians versus whatever the fuck. It's a very simple thing that's been repeated so many times. We are just one people, one human race. But this idea seems to escape the fucking insectoid, disgusting, putrid, small-minded apes that foam at their mouths and still act like hominids from thousands of years ago, just flinging their shit at one another. I see it everywhere. Just constant racism, homophobia, misogyny, everywhere. In real life, on the internet, which is just a proxy for people to communicate. So, yes, this is me ranting about Judaism. Just as I've made the song about Christianity and Islam, the three putrid, horrible, brainwashing, fairy tale, primitive form of governments that is poisoning humanity, making us wretchedly delusional, making us oppress our own people, making us kill each other. The world would be a better place without fucking religion poisoning us, making us believe in garbage bullshit, making us deny logical conclusions about the world around us through actual analysis of scientific processes. I hate it. I fucking hate it, which is why for the foreseeable future, this is going to be the last thing I release under the name Timi Haze. I'm really fucking tired of all of it, of trying so hard, and I'm not enjoying it anymore. It's not fun for me anymore. I'm tired of going on YouTube and talking about politics. I'm tired of making music that goes nowhere. This is the last thing I'm going to say for as long as I can tell. Me, Timi Haze. I wish the world was a better place. I'm still going to make things under Imit Ziha, which is a tapping into my subconscious. But I'm going to approach music as more for fun, because I feel defeated, I do. I feel like this world has pounded into me this sense of annihilation, that I can't change things, and that this is my last ditch kind of desperate attempt to express and say, I was here as a fucking person, as a human in this wretched, horrid world, barbaric, savage world that thinks it's so advanced because we have fucking screens of pressed sand that we can light up and show our most horrid sides. And yes, I know there's great beauty in the world. I've enjoyed many things in this world, but overall, I hate this world. And I'm tired of pretending otherwise. I really wanted to love it. I have felt love for it. But it's felt like a mundane nightmare. Like a slog. And I don't think I'll feel sad when I die. Maybe a sense of like, oh, I did see some beautiful things. But overall, I look forward to death. I feel like I shouldn't. But there's so much suffering in this world that's created by us. And not just by us, it's the very nature of being born and alive is to experience suffering. Because we're not perfect. Nature is imperfect. And we can try to fool ourselves and say that, oh, it's the imperfections that make life beautiful and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's knowing that we will die that makes us precious and blah, blah, blah. These are just pithy, cliche sayings. I don't fucking buy into them. And this is the main thing why I don't believe in Yahweh, the Judeo-Christian Islamic fucking deity. Nature in of itself is cruel, but I don't believe it's because of any conscious sense. Maybe there are some kind of forces at work that are beyond my comprehension, that govern existence in a way unfathomable, sure. But I don't think it's contingent on my wishes in any direct sense. And that's the folly of religion, and those that believe religion. The ultimate folly of narcissistic know-it-allness, that with their incredibly limited knowledge and incredibly limited filter of being human, they assume that they know the deepest philosophical answers to the ultimate questions of life, the universe, and everything. I reject that idea completely. I don't even know what another person feels and thinks in their entirety. I don't even know everything about myself. So, here we are now. Saying goodbye to Timi Haze. Goodbye to this album. I don't know if anyone at all will ever hear this, but I guess whoever you are, we've connected in this way. This is stream of consciousness, like, as much as I can be real right now, this is my brain, my mind, reaching out to you. And in this sense, we've touched. And I hope things get better, even with the futility of pain and death and suffering. So yeah, things to think about.